Hello, welcome to the David Dravenak Show, and today I'm going to be talking about people in power who are delusional. We've all experienced it. If you've ever had a real job, you have experienced the bosses, not the main bosses, or not the bosses that are right above you. I'm talking the people that are 3 or 4 levels ahead above you. Corporate, basically. Completely delusional. What got me thinking about this topic, I've always known it, but the mayor of my town put out a newsletter that said, hey, everybody. First, he talked like he was in the 1950s because he was like, hey, everybody, isn't it swell that the construction we had going for 3 years, and now that it's done, it appears that nothing actually happened. Isn't it swell that that's done? Now we can enjoy that intersection. Isn't it swell that we moved the construction from one end, which was pretty much a nightmare, to the other end, which is the busiest intersection in all of Chicagoland, and now, instead of it taking 40 minutes to go 1 mile, it takes an hour and 40 minutes. Isn't that swell? Because we're doing that just to raise the medians. That's all that's happening. Won't it be swell? Because I know for most of you, lines on the road is too much of a hassle to figure out where does the line between my side and the other side start. So we're going to put concrete, 1 foot of concrete in between. That way you'll know. Isn't that swell? Won't it be worth 3 years of being in traffic? Isn't that swell? So that's delusional. And I know I exaggerated, but that was basically it. But here's the part of the newsletter where I know for a fact he's delusional, because he said, oh, and you may have noticed that the red light ticket cameras have all been removed. To which I go, hell yeah, I noticed. Yeah, you finally allowed me to stop bending over my car while you rape me in the asshole, and I could drive like a normal human. But he says in the newsletter, hey, you might have noticed that we took down the red light tickets. And then he follows it up with, but don't worry, we just took them down to put new LED signals up. And don't you worry, we're going to get those things up soon and prompt. Because I know how much you guys miss them. No, there's not a citizen in this town that wants those things back up. And yet you, the mayor, is so delusional that you actually think that people are missing him. Like, no, I wish I could get more tickets for no reason. When's he going to put these? Is he getting letters from people like, dear mayor, I'm really disappointed that you took down the red light tickets because I like just going about my day and then a month later I get a $100 ticket for nothing. I miss that. Because I'm a masochist. So this is what I'm talking about. People in power who assume that the things you hate, you like those things. So back to corporate, I worked in the casino, and this would happen all the time. They would present, so I worked in the casino, and never have you seen the programs that they implement to enforce good customer service, right? I've been in plenty of customer service jobs, and they have the secret shoppers who, if you're a secret shopper, please drink a lot of alcohol and then take a bath. Let's hope you slide under, pass out, and die. Because you're the worst person in the world. Like, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a tattletale. That's what I do. I go to businesses and I tattle on employees, get them in trouble. I'll tell you what's never happened at Secret Shopper Incorporated or wherever the hell you go to get that job. What has never happened in the break room is the phrase, can you keep a secret? That's never happened. Because the second you tell someone like, hey, can you keep a secret? Don't tell anyone, but I think I might be pregnant. What? Let me tell everybody, because that's what I do. I'm a tattletale professionally. Anyway, so jobs will do that kind of stuff. They'll have the occasional like monthly evaluation or whatever. But the casinos, everyone I've ever worked at, they triple down on the customer service because they know that they are stealing money from addicted gamblers. Like, that's what the job is. Unless you work at Vegas, where people actually go to have a good time, every other casino where I work in the Midwest, 99% of your clientele are there every single day. They are addicts. They shouldn't get help. But the casino has no problem taking their money. But to make themselves feel better, let's really quadruple down on the customer service. The more you smile, the less painful it is for them that we're ruining their lives. Oh, and by the way, we're not forcing them to come in here. Right? That's what they'll tell you. Except for the part where you send them free gifts to get them into the casino. You don't force them at all. But anyway, my point is lots and lots of customer service programs meant to get us to conform to what they think will make it... I lost my train of thought. My point is, there was one program called Secret Shopper. No, Undercover Boss. I already talked about Secret Shoppers. Undercover Boss, where at any moment you could get evaluated. And what they would do is at the beginning of the shift, they would pick a supervisor randomly and say, you need to, at some point in this shift, find an employee who's not doing the customer service the way we want it. And now this supervisor would have to walk around, find somebody, then drag them into the office and tell them what a piece of shit they are because they didn't smile enough. I caught you, you weren't smiling. To which every single employee defends themselves because we work at a casino. Like, oh, the one moment you looked over, I wasn't smiling because the guy over here who just lost $1,000 in a blackjack hand is calling me a cunt. I wasn't smiling during that period. That's why, because you guys allow the gamblers to basically demean us and call us names because you want their money more than you care about how we feel. So it would always lead to a huge argument in the office every single time, to the point where if a supervisor got picked, it was a stressful night because they're like, I know I got this big conflict coming because I got to pull somebody off the floor and tell them how they're a bad person. So eventually they got rid of that program. But here's where the delusion comes in. They call a mandatory meeting to say, hey, everyone, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of that Undercover Boss program. But don't you worry. We're going to come up with something else. Don't you worry? Nobody's worried. Oh, and by the by, this the pretense of this mandatory meeting where you sent me an invitation like it was a party, you are cordially invited to, on your day off, drive an hour, spend 2 hours in a mandatory meeting, and then drive an hour in traffic back home. You're invited, aren't you? Isn't that swell? Isn't that swell how we did that to you? How we sent it to you in an invitation like it's a party? Because that's how delusional we are, because we're not anywhere near what's really happening in the real world because we're from corporate. But don't you worry, that customer service program that gave people ulcers, we're going to come up with something else, so don't you worry. Don't you worry. Also, as part of the delusion of people in corporate, the stuff they implement that they think will make them more money, right? Like, for instance, if you go into a Panda Express, every person has to say, hi, welcome. And I know that they have to say it because of how unorganic it is every time I walk. Like it's jarring. You walk in the door, hi, welcome, hi, welcome, hi, welcome. Even the guy who's got his back to you, who's cooking on the wok, he's like, his hi, welcome comes in about 5 seconds later because he's like, oh shit, we're doing that again? Hi, welcome. And he's got to say it because there could be a professional tattletale who apparently didn't get drunk enough and die in the tub like I hoped, who will tattle on the guy on the walk. Like, yeah, everyone else did what you said, but the guy on the walk, he didn't say hi, welcome when I walked in. So can you punish him so I can feel better about myself? And then I go to my second job is, writing parking tickets. And then my third job, which is I'm actually a policeman who watches red light ticket camera, and then I sign off on it as if I was the witness. So obviously it's forced on the employees by the fact that I just said that. It's not organic. It is them like, oh crap, another person walked in. And they hate it. And it doesn't make, who is the person that walks in who feels better and wants to spend more money because of that? You'd have to be the dumbest person in the world to think that they just out of the goodness of their heart all decided to say the exact same phrase to you. So either you like that, like I like it that the employees have to say this ridiculous phrase to me every time I walk in. I like it. I like that, and I like complaining when things are wrong. I like demeaning the person at the counter, even though what is wrong with my food order isn't their fault at all, because I'm a horrible person. But they make me feel better when I walk in and tell me that I'm welcome. Yeah. So delusion from people in corporate. Another delusion I saw, I was walking into another place and it said, all the places that are hiring think they're being cute. Instead of just saying, we're hiring, $15 an hour, possible college tuition and reimbursement. No, they do things like flavor specialists required. Once again, I know it's some idiot in corporate who's like, no, look, we call it flavor specialists. People will be more inclined to apply for our job. Because maybe they don't know what the job is. Like, if I get hired at Wingstop, what does my job entail? Am I going to be a flavor specialist or am I going to be a cashier? What's the word? Concierge. There we go. Because I don't want to be a flavor specialist, even though that's what your sign is saying you're hiring for. Can I be a cashier concierge? So that's my point about that. Do I have anything else to say? You're right, guy from earlier. I could be more concise. I could be. Tell you what, my New Year's resolution, be more concise. Now, let me tell you a thing or two about New Year's resolutions.